Hey everyone, I am in. Just finished up the Texans game. They had a really nice win, 26 to nothing. First half was a little shaky. They were up 6 to nothing. Barely squeaked in a couple of field goals, but then they were able to. I need to update my chat right quick. I got the wrong chat up there. All right. There we go, and that should be updated. Yep, that's the right chat. I got the right chat up there now. It's all good to go. But anyway, the second half for the Texans was completely opposite of their performance in the first half. They had 3 touchdown drives, put up a lot of yards. Completely opposite performance. I can see that it's 1-1. Apparently, Lance McCullers got into a little bit of a jam and was able to get out of it, right? Bases loaded. Yainer Diaz at the plate. 91 up and in, fouls it off. So the Astros and the Angels appear to have 2 hits each. And tied 1-1. Here comes the pitch from Aldegari. Yainer smacks it right up the middle, and that's going to be out number 1. Yeah, Mr. Texas Grass, isn't that crazy? I was expecting to see some scary numbers when I came in, and apparently he got out of the jam. I guess I'm just spreading the luck around today. Or we're spreading the luck. It's a team effort. Jesus Sanchez at the plate with 1 out, nobody on. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. Slider below the zone. Strike 1. I really enjoyed that. You know, I definitely have some things to work out for the Texans games, but I really enjoyed that. It was nice. Sanchi fouls that one off for strike 2. Last game for the Astros today. The stands are almost empty here in Anaheim. That's hit right to the left of the shortstop, and that's an opposite field hit for Sanchi. We have a runner on first with 1 out. Cam Smith at the plate. Here's the first pitch. Up and in, ball 1. Runner on first with 1 out. Darlene says you'll really like the idea of the Ants losing 19-28 against the Bills with 3 minutes. Oh, the Aints. Yes, that's right. Absolutely. I love it. I'm not a Bills fan, but I want the Saints to lose. Unless they're playing the Cowboys, and then I would want the Cowboys to lose. Just because, you know, if it weren't for my brother, I wouldn't really have anything against the Cowboys, but it's his fault. You can blame him. Here comes the 1-1 toss. Cam crushes at the left field. It's going to not carry quite as far as I was thinking. I thought that was a good swing right there. It sounded good off the bat. But he flies out right to the edge of the warning track. Sanchi goes back to first base. Man, I thought that one was going to get right over the fence. Ramon Urias comes to the plate. Last time up, fielder's choice ground out. Here comes the toss. 80 miles an hour outside on the changeup. 0-1, or 1-0 rather. Angel, man of culture. Last stand. Angel says after today, the team has to go to the drawing board and make some decisions and see how they're going to make it better for next year. Absolutely. It's almost time to overhaul. Second pitch is outside, 2-0. You know what? I think I have one comment And one speculation, my comment is I think that the Astros will definitely be making a lot of changes. Low and inside, ball 3. Sanchez stole second base, but that hasn't updated on the screen for some reason. I don't know how he got to second base without them saying anything. On the screen, it says he's on first, but he's not. Here comes a 3-0 pitch to Urias. That's low. Ball 4, 4-pitch walk. We have runners on first and second. All right. But the first, like I was saying, Angel, the first thing is like what you were alluding to. I think that there's going to be a lot of changes in the Astros organization during the offseason. So my question or my speculation is, what will all those changes be? How many players are going to change? How many coaches are going to change? We're going to have management changes? These are big questions. What's the shakeup level going to be? Bryce Matthews at the plate takes a ball. That's 5 straight balls from Aldegari. Here comes the next toss. Outside, ball 2, 6 straight balls. Darlene says, I ain't never liked the Aints. I'll always watch the game and root for the other team. I'm the same. I was rooting against them in the Super Bowl, and I went to a Super Bowl party in Louisiana. That's how hardcore I am. 92 miles an hour. That's a strike right in there. 2-1. 2 outs, runner on second. Let's bring Sanchez in. Mr. Matthews. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 80-mile-per-hour changeup at the bottom of the zone. The count's even 2-2. I appreciate everyone coming in and watching. A very casual, relaxed game today. About 28 people watching. If you have a moment to like the live stream, I'd appreciate it. This is going to be the last MLB game of the year for the Astros. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Matthews. Grounded down to the third base side. Speared by Rengifo. He makes the throw to first. Scooped up by the first baseman. And that's out number 3. Matthews grounds out. And we strand Sanchi. How many lobsters is that now? I think the Angels have quite a few after leaving runners, leaving the bases loaded. Wow, the Astros have 12. Holy cow. In the first 3 innings, the Astros have created 12 lobsters. I think that's the worst I've ever seen in 3 innings. That is insane. The Angels only have 3. I thought it was going to be opposite. So the only lobsters that the Angels didn't bring home were the 3 guys that were on base with bases loaded last inning. The Astros have left 12 guys. That's nuts. You know, if you have 12 guys on base that you can move around, you should have 5 or 6 runs on the board. Astros only have 1. Crazy. Gregory says no Walker in the lineup today's last game. Yep, no Walker, no Altuve, none of the main guys except for Diaz. Diaz is in the lineup. I think that should make Diaz feel kind of bad. Diaz is in the lineup with all of the, I guess you could say the B team. Good for you, Diaz. Good for you. You're in the game, but Walker isn't. Funny. Mr. Texas Grass says the 1-2 punch of Tucker and Alvarez was magic. With Altuve and Pena getting on base for them, we were spoiled. Yep. McCullers is back on the mound. How many pitches does he have? 43 in the first 2 innings. He's now facing Logan O'Hoppe. Second pitch is in there for a strike. 1-1. Whoa, excuse me. Sorry about that. Ground ball to the left side. Arias scoops it up and fires it over to first. O'Hoppe goes down for the first out. Joe Adele is due up next. Gregory says Bryce is back. Yeah. Yeah, Bryce was in the game yesterday, too. First pitch to Adele is in the top of the zone, and he fouls it off for strike one. Nice slider. Susan says San Diego versus Chicago tomorrow. NL wild card. Yeah, in that game, I definitely am going for San Diego. I want the Curbs to get kicked out. I'd love to see the Curbs get kicked out in 2 games. That'd be nice. Gregory says Cubs win the series. I sure hope not. Ground ball to the third base side. It's 1-2. Check this out, guys and gals. Pitcher strikeouts this season. The Astros lead all the MLB with 1,495. The Dodgers have 1,491. Astros are number 1 in strikeouts as a staff. And there's another one. 14,900 and something 6. Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine what kind of a year the Astros would have had with a decent offense? We would have been the only team with over 100 wins for sure. Swing and a miss. This could have been easily the Astros year. Think about how sad that is. If the Astros defense offense had just been decent through the whole year, just decent, we would have had the best record in the MLB and the best chances of going to the World Series. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Chris Taylor. Swing and a miss. 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the third. Chris Taylor facing Lance McCullers Jr. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Outside and in the dirt, 1-2. Poor Diaz, Gregory says, yeah. Mr. Texas Grass says we had a lot of unique heroes this year for individual games. Yeah, and rookies and call-ups and one-offs. Swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts. McCullers looks pretty good. That's 4. 4 strikeouts for him this game. 1-1. We are done with 3 innings of ball. I'd like to take this opportunity to go back and look at some of the stats from the Texans game. C.J. Stroud today for the Texans was 22 of 28. He had 28 attempts, 22 completions, no interceptions. That's a good key stat. 2 thrown touchdowns, both coming in the second half. But the hero of the game, man, was Marks. And that dude he was really something else today. 17 carries, 69 yards, 4.1 per carry, 1 touchdown rushing. But he also had 4 receptions for 50 yards, 12.5 yards per reception, and another touchdown. So he had 2 all-purpose touchdowns. Higgins also had a touchdown today. One reception for 24 yards. He had another one, another nice long reception that was called back down the sideline. It was a beautiful reception. but it was called back, unfortunately. So it only has the one for today, but it did result in a touchdown. All 3 touchdowns coming in the second half for the Texans. If you have an opportunity to actually look at the performance the Texans had in the second half versus the first half, it was completely opposite. Jacob Melton starts it off with a ground out. And that brings up Zach King Cole. 1 walk today for Cole. Here's the pitch. Right on the inside on that slider, strike 1. Darlene says if the Aints play in Mississippi at the same time as the Texans or the Cowboys, these people ain't never going to learn. They ain't seen the doodle. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Cole. Right on the outside edge. That's strike 2. Got to swing at those, my friend. Gregory says the NFL's silver boot. Cowboys or Texans? It better be Texans. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Cole. He swings at that one a little below the zone, fouls it off. Count remains 1-2. It is 5:11 in the morning here. Here's the pitch to Cole. High, ball 2, and the count's even. My day started at 1:30. Probably won't end until 7 o'clock, but I'm going to go right back to bed. I kid you not. Hold up. Did he swing? And yeah, he did. They say he went around. 5 strikeouts for Aldegary, and that's another failed at bat for Mr. Cole. 1 walk and a strikeout today. Doobie comes to the plate. Pardon me. Here comes the pitch. Curve ball taken at the bottom, right below the zone for ball 1. High and outside. Yeah, I don't think there's an actual trophy because there's no guarantee that the Cowboys and the Texans will play each other every season, you know? This is hit straight up in the air on the infield. It goes out to shallow right. Adele comes in and puts it away for out number 3. 3 up and 3 down. Quiet game looks like so far after that first inning. A little bit of traffic in the second. It was shut down. Astros go in order in the top of the 4th. McCullers will be back out in just a moment. Christian Moore will lead it off for the Angels, followed by Carter Kiaboom and Sebastian Rivero. Yeah, you could say that it's a metaphorical boot, Gregory, I guess you could say, or a proverbial silver boot. If the Texans and the Cowboys played every single year, then I guess you could have a trophy. But there's no guarantee that they always play, right? Oh, goodness gracious. I am so sorry about the yawning. I think I slept for about 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours last night before I got up. So kind of been a long night for me. Angel X account. I do have an X account, actually. It's not related to the STROS, but let me see if I can pull it up. I'll just drop it in the chat. Anybody interested can add me if you want. haven't posted anything on here in a really long time. A really, really long time. There you go. That's my ex. Hey, Colton Gordon is back on the mound for the Astros. It looks like McCullers' day is over. Let me see about changing. And he has a problem with the pitch comm right off the bat, so they're going to try to work that out. There we go. Yeah, they'll figure it out. He says it's working. That's right, Gregory. Too much excitement. If it's still raining, I might go lie down there in the front of the house and sleep in there. 1 ball, no strikes. The Swiffer misses its mark. Christian Moore at the plate facing Colton 45 Gordon. 90 miles an hour, low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. I'll tell you what, though, it sure is stress-free to call a game like this. Last game of the year, Astros, oddly, it feels so strange them not going into the playoffs. So there's nothing riding on this game. Now, if the Astros were in the playoffs, there would also be nothing riding on this game, right? So it'd be stress-free either way, but I'd prefer the Astros to be going in the playoffs. But there's always a decrease in tension, right? Whenever your team is definitely done. Fouled off for strike 2. The count is even, 2-2. Larry says the Indians winning the World Series. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this year. As long as it's not the Yankees or the Dodgers, I think I'm okay with anybody else winning, just not those. That's going to be a strikeout for Colton Gordon. Moore goes down swinging. 1,500 strikeouts now. Look at that. The Astros, 6 strikeouts more than the Dodgers. 1,500 leading all MLB this year. 90 low and inside. 1-0 to Carter Kieboom. Here's the toss. Low and outside. Angel says you should post your short summaries and commentaries and tag the Astros. A lot of people will see it and join the YouTube channel. Just an idea. I appreciate that. You know, I'm so busy doing the games that there's a lot of stuff that I don't have time to do. You know, I get recommendations all the time. You should do this. You should do that. You should do this. You should do that. And I agree. But man, it's just so much. You know, people have talked about Discord, about building it out on X, even doing more on Instagram. And it's like, even they mentioned Facebook. And it's like, I agree with all of those things. But man, now, if I'm making several $1,000s a month doing this, then I can pay some people to help me do those things. But right now, the time to do it is just insane. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Grounds it to third. Arias throws it over to first, and that's going to be the second out of the inning. If you guys have not voted yet for the Roberto Clemente Award, Josh Hader has been nominated for it. You can go to MLB.com. If you have not voted yet, I would recommend you do that. It'd be nice for Hader and his wife to get that award. They do a lot to help the kids, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. Curveball's in there for strike 1 to Sebastian Rivero. Here's the 0-1. up the middle, backhanded by Bryce Matthews. He drops it for a second, but is able to pick it up and fire it over to first. For out number 3, Colton Gordon has a good inning. 3 up and 3 down. And picks up a strikeout. Sam Aldegari might be back in for the Angels here in the the top of the 5th. The Batman Victor Caratini will lead it off, followed by Shiner Diaz, and then Buddy Sanchi. That's our lineup. Larry says fire Dana Brown, Espada, trade all the Astros players for picks and rookies. You want the complete overhaul, huh? Fire the pitching coaches, fire the medical staff, all the trainers, the doctors, the team doctors. Get rid of all of them. Start over. Angel says last night at midnight I was watching the MotoGP race that was in Japan. They've got some pretty interesting sports here. Obviously, they have some of the international events, like the races and stuff. Right now, I wonder what's live. Take a quick look. Live TV. Premier Tennis, paddle tennis. Let me get back to the game here. Pretty sure I'm missing. Yeah, I missed the first pitch to Caratini. Ball 1 to Caratini. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. He grounds this down to the third base side. I think that's Rengifo over there. He makes the throw to first base, and 1 down. Yeah, according to the website that I have access to now, right now they've got a lacrosse going on, a couple of soccer matches going on, international soccer match, paddleball match. They got all sorts of stuff going on right now, and of course all the NFL games. I have access to all those right now. Crazy. Diaz at the plate. Fouls the first pitch off, swings and misses the second one. 0-2 is the count with 1 out, nobody on. Major Payne says, big question is, should the Astros tear it all down and start over or try to stay in the thick of it? I think you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You definitely keep the valuable part and then dump out everything else. Clean out the tub, so to speak. Fill it up with fresh water. So there's going to be a lot of replacements. I think there should be some replacements. But there should also be a few key components that you keep. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that there should be shakeups with the players, the staff, and management. Yiner hits it pretty hard to left field, left center, and that's going to be just enough to get out. That's a homer. 2-1. $20 home runs for Yiner this year. And this is his 19th homer with the Astros as the primary catcher in the game. And that ties an Astros franchise record with Gaddis. It's nice to see some kind of little record or some kind of little beautiful things happening in the game. Very first pitch, Jesus Sanchez rips it into right center field for a base hit. As soon as he hits that one, Yiner was really excited about getting that homer. 2-1 STROS with 5 hits. Yeah, he's very happy about that one. Cam Smith at the plate with Sanchi on first base and 1 out. It looks like they have Sanchez in a rundown, and they tag him out. He's picked off. Terrible base running there, and that's out number 2. Good job, Sanchi. Major Payne says Astros won't have as much money as people think they will. I don't think that Astros fans believe that the Astros have much money. We've got a lot of money tied up. And if we move some guys around, we're going to lose even more. Like for Walker, for example, if they decide to offload Walker, the only way to do that is to lose money. And they're already losing money on a lot of other players. So I haven't heard a single person say that the Astros are going to have much money. If so, that's news to me. Outside. 2-0 to Cam Smith. Texas Grass says Lance Fromber, Christian Louise. Well, Fromber's not on the chopping block. He's a free agent. But Lance McCullers, Christian Javier. Well, I don't know about Christian Javier. I don't know about that. Luis Garcia. I don't know if those are difficult to say because the Astros need pitching and those guys are not. Now, Lance McCullers, yes, absolutely. I agree. 3-1 to Cam Smith. Here comes the toss. Rifle down the right side. That's fair. Cam Smith is going to head to second base, and he strolls in with a double. That's a shame. Might have been able to score Sanchez if he hadn't gotten picked off. 92-mile-per-hour fastball at the top of the zone. Good hit by Cam. Runner on second with 2 outs. Prodigy says, I bet they don't have rodeo in Japan. Well, you know what? My first thought would be, no, they don't. But little break on the mound. They want to have a little chit-chat with the pitching coach. But then again, I'm not surprised. Did you guys know that they have professional American Football League in Japan? Did you know that? They might have rodeo. Japan does have a rodeo every year in Okinawa. It's a special once-a-year thing. American-style rodeo once a year in Okinawa. But it makes sense that it's in Okinawa. That's where the main U.S. base is located. Lots of Americans down there. It's a very Americanized area. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Urias. A little low, 2-0. But Japan's main, I guess you could say their main traditional sport would be sumo wrestling. Sumo is pretty cool. Once you learn it, it's not difficult to learn about. It's fun to watch. That's hit really hard to left field. Arias tags it. It's gone. That's a 2-run shot. 2 more runs for the Astros. 11 home runs now for Arias. 3 runs this inning. It's 4-1. Astros slugging the ball. So many home runs since it started to not matter. Isn't it crazy? 7 hits now, several home runs, and the Astros are up 4-1 in the top of the 5th, and they're going to go ahead and pull the pitcher. That's going to be all they can take, and they can't take no more. Let's see here. Angel says we watched the Texans game, and now we're watching the Chiefs versus Ravens. Who are you rooting for? I hope you're rooting for the Ravens. Just because can't stand the Chiefs. But then again, what about the division? What about the division info? Let's see here. Let me pull up the NFL. Yeah, we got the Jaguars and the Colts. Don't have to worry about the Titans right now. Take a look at the scores. Colts and the Rams are 3-3. Jaguars, 49ers, 3-0. Bunch of low scores right now. Oh, they're all in the first quarter mostly. Okay, I got it. Go back to the chat here. Yeah, Susan, you're right. If Diaz can be more patient and stop chasing those sliders and the sweepers low and outside the zone, then he will drastically improve his batting average. Gregory asks, chopping block Sanchez? Maybe. Prodigy says we want to see Cam Smith take a big step next year. Yes, we do. Connor Brogdon comes in the game for the Angels. Connor Brogdon. It's an interesting name. Very first pitch is hit out to left field. Look at that. Bryce Matthews. Bryce Matthews on the very first hit. Connor Brogdon comes in, and the very first pitch, Bryce Matthews cranks it out. That is the third home run of the inning. It's 5-1 Astros. Are you kidding me? I was joking around earlier. I was like, watch the Astros with all these guys score, 10 runs or more in this game. And it looks like they're trying to do it. Doesn't it just make you sick? I mean, I'm glad to see it. But at the same time, it's like, holy freaking cow. Our main guys couldn't even do this when it really mattered. 96 inside and low. Barely misses the zone. 2-0 to Jacob Melton. If Melton hits a homer, it's over. It's over for me. Here's the 2-0. He hits it hard out to right field, and it's going to be in. It's not a homer, but it might as well be. Melton gets a single to right field. The hits continue. That's hit number 9 for the Astros. 6 straight hits. From Yiner's home run until now, it's 6 straight hits for the Astros. Batting practice going on right now. Hey, Daniel, happy Monday to you. Mr. Texas Grass says they got bluegrass music. I would not be surprised about a rodeo. That's the thing. I mean, after living in Japan, I'm not surprised anymore about the things that they have. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're easy to find or common, but all it takes is a quick internet search. If you're looking for something, they probably have it or some version of it. Zach Cole at the plate. The first pitch is out of the zone for ball 1. Here comes the next toss from Brogdon. 81, low and outside, 2-0. Prodigy, thank you so much. Home run inning, super chat. Arigato. That's the home run inning super chat right there, baby. 2 balls and no strikes. Zach King Cole. Here's the toss. Melton is stealing, and it looks like he's going to be thrown out. He was safe at first, and then he comes off the bag. The only 2 times that Melton has been thrown out this year because he came off the bag. So stealing the bag, no problem. Staying on the bag needs work. That's out number 3. The Astros are done in the 5th. But they put up 4 more runs by just hitting homer after homer after homer. 9 hits, 5 runs. It's 5-1 going into the bottom of the 5th. Goodness gracious me. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Whew, man. Yeah, I'm starting to run out of gas already. Let me get some of these electrolytes in me. I absolutely love this electrolyte drink. Not only does it happen to be the most affordable pharmaceutical grade electrolyte drink, it is also the best one. The carbs are super low, and the electrolytes are the highest. So you can actually drink this on a fast. If you're fasting, you can drink this. You get your electrolytes. That's the thing about fasting. If you're fasting and drinking a lot of water, whenever you go to the toilet, you'll actually lose a lot of electrolytes. So you have to replace those. This is a good drink to do that. If you're not going to make your own electrolyte drink, you could do that. It's just easier to drink something like this. Gordon comes into Denzer Guzman with 2 straight strikes. 0-2 is the count. I apologize for that. I hit the wrong mute button. Here's the toss. Low and inside. One ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. That's another strikeout for Colton Gordon. He's got a couple of Ks from last inning till now. 1 down. Bryce Teodosio comes to the plate. Prodigy says, I would think that the Japanese would be smarter than to get a 2,000-pound angry animal with horns. They've already got some 2,000-pound animals with horns. They're called sumo wrestlers. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. It's fouled off by Teodosio. It's 1-1. Darlene says, I am because I can't stand Mo. Mo ho ho ho. That's all I can stands, and I can't stands no mo. 83, just at the bottom of the zone for strike 2. 1-2 is the count. Prodigy says, yeah, I went to the toilet the other day and had to use the plunger because I had too many electrolytes. There's a ground ball to Urias at third base, and he fires it over to first. To Caratini for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. Altuve has 11 seasons with over 155 hits. Pretty awesome. There's a bouncer to Urias. Nice scoop. What a beautiful scoop by Urias. He flashes the leather. And Gordon's got 3 up and 3 down thanks to the awesome play of Urias. And that's the end of the 5th. We go to the top of the 6th. Yeah, but Altuve, out of all active players, he's got the second most overall hits among active players in the MLB right now. There's a good chance that before he retires, he will be number 1, the number 1 leader in hits of all active players. By the way, yesterday I drove to Saratown. Saratown is a place about 25 minutes from here. There's a family restaurant there called Joyful. And Joyful has an all day from like 7 a.m. until 1 o'clock in the morning. They have an all day menu. They have a separate breakfast menu that's only available until like 10:30, from 7 to 10:30. But they also have some items on the menu that are available all day long. And one of those is a breakfast plate. So I was very happy to discover that. And so sometimes I can go there and for $7, I can actually order 3 extra sides. Now, if I don't order any extra sides, then it only costs like $3.50 for that meal. But the meal only comes with 1 fried egg, a half a piece of bacon, and 1 link sausage. The sausage link is actually pretty big, but half a strip of bacon and 1 small fried egg and iceberg only salad. It's just not enough. And a piece of bread. It's just not enough. So I usually add the soup bar. Zach Cole at the plate. Fouls it off in the bottom of the zone. It's 0-2. The soup bar costs about 70 cents to add. And I can get as much soup as I want. So I add that. And then I add 1 or 2 fried eggs, depending on how I feel. But if I get both fried eggs and the soup bar added to it, it also comes with the drink bar. The whole thing comes out to about $7.50. You just can't beat that for the price. 96 miles an hour, fouled off. The count remains 0-2. And I can sit there with my computer for a little while and relax. And I can get as many coffee refills as I want. They've got juice if I want it. I try to stay away from the juice because of sugar. But I can go back and get more soup, more coffee, water, tea, whatever. 1 ball, 2 strikes with that one in the dirt. I went there yesterday. And after that, I went to the hot bath. That cost me $3. And it was a private bath. First time I've been able to go to that place. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Zach King Cole with nobody on, no outs. That's strike 3 at the bottom of the zone. He rings him up. Struck him out looking. No hits for Cole today. 1 walk and a couple of strikeouts. He needs to work on that in the offseason. Stop striking out. Do not become like Christian Walker. Strike out a lot, get a home run here and there. Mauricio Dubon at the plate. He's got a single today. 95 inside, fouls it off. But anyway, I told you guys about all of that because the private bath that I went to yesterday, because it was private and the door was locked, I was able to lock the door and be in there by myself. I was able to take a video. That's something that I'm never able to do in the onsens or the hot springs or the hot baths. They're always public, and so I can't take my camera in there. But since I was by myself, I was able to do that. That was pretty cool. So I made a short style video, and I'll share that with you later on. 2 balls and 1 strike to Doobie. Doobie doobie doo. Connor Brogdon on the mound. This will be his 17th pitch. That's hit high in the air to center. Playable. That's out number 2. How many people do we actually have listening in right now? Let's see. Take a lookie. 39 and 23 likes. It's interesting how whenever the likes are lower, I'm sorry, when the views are lower, the likes are higher in percentage. Interesting how that works. The Batman, Victor Caratini, is at the plate. Victor, make your father proud, Victor. Here's the next pitch, outside. Come on, Batman. 2-0. Pitch number 20 on the way for Brogdon. It sounds like a nickname that somebody would give me for Brandon. What's up, Brogdon? Here's the 2-0. That's outside. 3-0. In Chinese, my name is Burandong. Burandong. In Japanese, it's Burandong. Sounds much better in Japanese. Strike 1 to Caratini. It's 3-1. I don't think so, Prodigy. I'll have to double check, but I'll let you know. I think they have a little bit more control of Caratini. That might be a home run to center field. Holy freaking cow. The Batman does it. Another freaking homer for the Astros. Victor Caratini goes over the center field fence around 400 feet. Dead center field. 6-1 Astros. Look at that. Both of our catchers have a home run this game. "12 home runs this year. That breaks his career high. Caratini's highest career homers in a year was 11. This year he has 12. Can you imagine how many he would have had if they had let him play more? Ooh, Diaz is at the plate. I thought he got hit, but that went off of his bat. It's 0-2. Yeah, I like Caratini. I want to keep Caratini. Let's see. He signed a 2-year, $12 million contract with the Astros through the 2025 season. Oh, okay, so he will be a free agent after this season. He's one of those guys you gotta. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. You have him as a backup. You know, he's just too useful. Yainer swings and misses that pitch, strikes out, but the Astros get another run courtesy of the Batman, Victor Caratini. 10 hits for the Stros now and 6 runs, 1 error. 2 hits only for the Angels, 1 run, no errors. Prodigy says Brogdon should pitch in the home run derby. Yeah, I think so. Him and the last pitcher. Darlene. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. Batman. I know you're saying na 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 Batman, but for some reason when I saw all the nanas, I was thinking na 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 Hey, 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 Batman. I was mixing the old Batman theme song with that old song. I put the two together. Na 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 Batman. Victor. Got about 50 people following along right now. It's pretty nice. The other day we had about 50, and the Astros still had a chance to get into the playoffs. Today, it's their last game, and there is no chance. There is no chance. But we have 50 here, so that's great. I appreciate you guys being here, guys and gals both. Now, I will say this. I meant to update everyone about this. There are two things. One is the contest that I held. I have all of my winners, and so I will be contacting you, all of those who entered. I'll be contacting you to let you know who the winners are. But there's good news because so many of you tied. I decided to get some extra postcards. So there will be one main winner, just like I had planned, and then there will be some extra runners up. So everybody that was runners up, there will be some extra postcards going out from Japan from me to you. So I think in total we had about 7 people. I had about 7 people. Yeah, that's right. Me and my staff here at Ghost Rose, as you can see, my big staff, the big corporate structure of Ghost Rose. 1 ball, no strikes to Logan O'Hoppe. Gordon is still on the mound for the Astros. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's in there for a strike, 1-1. But anyway, because I got busy with the Texans game, something's always got my attention. That's a ground ball to Arias. He fires the first, and O'Hoppe's down. 1 down. Joe Adell is due up. But it seems like there's always something to keep me busy. That's why I can't easily do things like set up an X account, right? Like Angel was saying earlier. I completely agree. These are good ideas. But man, the combination of time, needing to rest, sitting down in the chair too much. There's so many things, that just, wow, let's hit deep. Wow, but foul, thankfully. Strike one. But also, there are a lot of things that I forget about, and I'm like, oh crap, yeah, I need to do that. But I did check the winners for the contest, and I will be contacting everybody to let you know about that. That's one thing. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That is hit hard. Is it going to be in the park? Yes, it is. Wow, at the wall. How about that? Jacob Melton jumps up. It was right at the yellow line. Adele almost got home run number 38. Melton either made a good catch or a good catch to save a homer. Yeah, I think he stole a homer from Adele. Look at this. Yes, nice. Good job with his eyes in the sun. 92 low and inside. 2 outs. Chris Taylor now at the plate. 90 outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Gregory says we could use 15 home runs for Caratini next year. Resign him, please. Yeah, if we leave him in the game, we might even get more than 15 from him. We might get 20 out of him. Depends on how much we let him play. It seems like the more he plays, the better he gets. 3 balls and no strikes. Yeah, that's right, Darlene. With Adam West, the Batman with Adam West. I think that Robin, perhaps, just perhaps, the Penguin, yeah, the very strange Adam West. So hilarious to watch him. 4-pitch walk. 2 out runner on. Christian Moore now at the plate. I forgot what my second point was that I needed to make besides the giveaway. Maybe I'll remember later on. We'll see. I'll remember eventually and I'll share with you. First pitch to Christian Moore is a ball on the curve. 1-0. Here comes the next toss. Fouled off. 1-1 on the Swiffer. Here's the 1-1 pitch outside. 2-1. We got a runner on first with that 4-pitch walk. 2 outs. Christian Moore at the plate with the 2-1 count. Holy strikeouts, Batman. Ooh, that could have been a strike on the upper outer corner. Called a ball. Three balls and one strike. Full count, 91 miles an hour, swing and a miss on the fastball. Here comes the full count. Fouled off. I cannot wait to climb back into bed and go back to sleep. But I think before I do that, I might cook myself a couple of eggs, maybe make a breakfast burrito. Fouled off. Count remains 3-2. 40th pitch of the game coming for Gordon. Now, swing and a miss. He picks up another strikeout on the 3-2 pitch. Christian Moore goes down. Colton 45 with another K. Spell that Colton with a K, baby. That's it for 6 innings of ball. We are 66.666666% finished with this game. Top of the 7th coming up in just a bit. Jesus Sanchi will be at the plate, followed by Cam Smith. And then Ramon Urias. I'm going to stand up right quick. I need to stretch my legs just a little bit. Go STROS and all that good stuffs. Hang in there. I'll be right back. Jesus Sanchez is at the plate with an 0-1 count. My chair is stuck. I cannot wait to get my desk and everything moved into the other room because, man, I'm so tired of the clutter and the lack of ease of mobility in this room. 1-1 strike. Sanchez. Here comes the toss. He hits this one out into. Oh, I thought that was. I thought that was going to go out into center field, but it was a bouncer to the pitcher. It just had a big arch on it. But I wasn't looking on my big screen up here. I was looking on my small screen, and it looked like a line drive to center field, but it was just a bouncer. It hit basically right off the plate, went straight up in the air. The pitcher caught it through to first base for out number 1. 1 down. Cam Smith at the plate, low and inside on the Swiffer. 1 ball, no strikes. Cam Smith 1 for 2 today. A little outside. 2-0. Cam with a hit. See if he can get another one right here. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That was a little inside, but called a strike. 2-1 is the count. Here's the 2-1. That's hit up the middle. Pitcher dives for it, misses it. But Moore is able to scoop it up at second base, just to the left of the bag, and fire over to first base and get Cam for out number 2. Ramon Urias comes to the plate. He has a fielder's choice, a walk, and a home run today. Here's the pitch. Way outside. That one got completely by the catcher. 1-0 with 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 7th. Astros with a comfortable 5-run lead, 6-1. Next pitch is just a little outside. Close. 2-0. Hey, Glenn, welcome back. Yeah, Shake, it already feels weird. No more Astros games after today. Not until next year. Crazy. No October. Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me of the other thing that I was going to tell you. I knew I'd remember it. 3-0 is the count to Urias. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Urias, and he's on with 2 outs. If anybody is interested in me doing MLB playoff games, then I can do it, but I'm going to have to do donations in order to pay for that. And the super chats are not going to be able to do it. They'll have to be to PayPal. And the reason is because I would have to have the money to pay for the account to do those games. There's a separate charge. Right now, I have the Astros package where I can watch 100% of all Astros games. So I can't watch all of the playoff games. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Bryce Matthews. That's a strike in the bottom of the zone, 0-2. So if everybody really wants me to call the playoff games, then I'll have to take enough donations through PayPal in order to pay for that subscription so that I can do the live streams. Otherwise, I can't see the game, so I can't call them if I can't see them. That's in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let me see. Let me pull this up. I'll pull up the MLB TV on another browser to see how much that costs. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Matthews. Here's the pitch. It's low, 97 miles an hour. Good take, 2-2. Full count to Bryce Matthews. Here's the toss. Little tapper to the left side. There's not going to be a play there. Arias is able to go to third. The pitcher, for some silly reason, decided he would try to throw it to first base to get Matthews. There was no chance of that. And because of that nonsense, Arias is able to go over to third base. Silly pitcher. Why would he do that? Look at that. What a ridiculous play by the pitcher. That causes Arias to be able to easily jog over to third base. And he's pointing. He's telling the first baseman to throw it to third. Matthews steals second base. That's a strike to Melton. But the ball gets by the catcher. And so Matthews is able to get into second, no problem. And now we have runners on second and third with 2 outs. Just like that. We had nobody on with 2 outs, and now we have runners on second and third. 0-1 is the count to Melton, who had a single his last at bat. Outside, 1-1. Here comes a 1-1 count. That's in there. Nice Swiffer, low and inside, 1-2. Yeah, Glenn, to be honest, my heart is not really into doing the playoff games, but I had a few people ask. I'd really just rather do it like what you said, just focus on the football games. It would also give me kind of a break right now until the NBA starts. It would give me time to set up my channel because I have to do all the code stuff again for the NBA and to work all that stuff out. I could do a Carps game. Swing and a miss. Melton strikes out. Nice strand, too. That's a couple more lobsters for the Astros this game. But, you know, Glenn, what you're saying about the games, Glenn says, I am more interested in you focusing on football while the Astros are not having games. Would be cool if you did a Japanese baseball game or two for us. It would be kind of neat. The only thing is, the timing of the games is not good for you guys and gals. Unless you're in Asia or somewhere else, the timing is really not good because most of those games are in the afternoons or in the evening. Maybe they start, they typically start, I think, around between 4 and 6 o'clock, depending on if it's a weekday or weekend game. And 6 o'clock here in the evening is like 4 a.m. in Houston. So I don't think anybody's going to be watching. No one's going to log in really and watch that game. So if I were to do that, it would probably just be for fun. Now, if they happen to have a game at like noon, let's see, that I mean, that would still be too late though. I think if they have a game at noon, that's pretty late for you guys and gals. They don't ever have any games earlier than that, and most of their games are 4 to 6 o'clock start time in the evening, and that's just way too late for most everybody in the U.S. 7th inning stretch is going on right now. But I would say this though, like you're mentioning, if I just focus on football, the good thing about that is that it will give me a break, and I'm able to do other things. I'm able to work on my code. I'm able to improve my layout, not only for the Texans games and fix all of those problems, but I'm also able to go ahead and get my layout ready for the Rockets games, because whenever the Rockets games start, I need to be ready for that. I need to already have that set up and ready to go. Um, I also have an event coming up the first week of November, maybe around November 7th. Let me check my calendar. Yeah, that's right. November 7th, 8th, and 9th. I will be a little busy. And the reason is now actually the 7th and 8th and 9th for me is the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th for you guys in the US. So I'm one day ahead basically. But I was invited to come speak at a what's called a Minka conference. This old house that I live in, this old house that I live in Japanese is called a kominka, and basically means it's like a traditional farmhouse. And since I run a YouTube channel and I'm a foreigner living in and renovating an old house in Japan, they invited me to come to this conference and speak as a panel member, a YouTube renovation panel member. And I have about a 15-minute presentation to do, and then we're going to do Q&A for about 30 minutes and talk about various aspects of, foreigners living in Japan, renovating houses and living in the houses and stuff like that, and doing YouTube channel. That's the other thing that they're interested in. So I was invited, one of like 4 YouTubers, to come and speak at that. And so that's going to be a road trip. Me and a couple friends, an Australian friend and an American friend, we're going to take a road trip over there. I'm going to drive from here to there. My Australian friend, Glenn, is going to leave with me from here at my home. And we're going to drive over to Kyoto. And that's where we're going to pick up Danny, my American friend. And then we'll drive over to the conference and we'll stay there for that weekend and then drive back. So it's going to be a bit of a road trip. Colton Gordon throws that pitch to Carter Kieboom and he flies it out to right field. Put away no problem by Cam Smith. And that's out number 1. Sebastian Rivero comes to the plate. Glenn says you can do a survey to check interest. Many of our listeners, I think, live in different parts of the world. I would assume, I would add that some of us have jobs and flexible work hours or even can listen as we work. Gotcha. I could always post it too, because the thing is, after the live is finished, you guys can always check it out to just kind of take a look at it. Maybe instead of doing the whole game, I could just show some of the game so you could kind of see it. But I'll definitely think about it. I've been kind of wanting to share that. One ball, 2 strikes to Rivero. Yeah, I know some people work late, and actually some of my listeners are in other countries, in Europe, in Asia, South America. This is hit deep into center field, but it looks like it's going to be playable by Melton, and he puts it away. No problem. Out number 2. Denzer Guzman comes to the plate next with nobody on, 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. 36 people watching now. We've slipped a little bit, but still higher than I expected for this game. Swing and a miss by Guzman, strike 1. Holden Gordon still dealing for the Astros. We're almost at 30 likes, just 2 more and we'll be at 30. Woohoo! 82 outside. Pitch number 50 coming up for Gordon. It's 1-1. Nice toss. 84 on that outside edge. 1 ball and 2 strikes with the Swiffer. That was a beautiful pitch. Ben says, yeah, and then if you pick the right keywords, your vid can be a go-to video for English speakers curious of baseball in Japan. Yeah, and actually, one of the things I'm wanting to do is go to an actual baseball game and broadcast live from the game. That's something that I should have time to do now that the Astros season is over. I have time this week. Might be able to do it this week. It'd be a good opportunity. Got to check the schedule and see when the Carp are going to play. Full count with 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the toss to Guzman. He hits it straight up in the air and out of play. If I go to Hiroshima City, I could use that as an excuse to visit Costco. Pick up some stuff at Costco. Because Mazda Stadium, where they play, is right next door to Costco. I can actually park my van at Costco. And I have to pay a very small... I think the first hour and a half, 2 hours or something is free. And then after that, I have to pay a small fee. That's hit high in the air, and that's going to be playable. Cam Smith comes in a little bit, puts it away for out number 3, and that's it for the Fallen Angels here in the 7th inning, and that will wrap it up. First 7 innings of baseball, the Astros have put up 6 runs on 11 hits. 2 hits only for the Angels in 7 innings and 1 run. So the Astros B team better than the Angels B team. But if I go to Costco, I can pick up a few things, put those in my van, leave my van parked in Costco, and walk next door to the Hiroshima Carp game. Just bring my battery backup and my extra phone and do a live stream. I would really, really like to be able to take a tablet. If I could take a tablet with me to that game, then it would be so much easier to see the live chat. If there are any people in the live chat, you know, because if the game starts at like 6 o'clock or something, that's 4 in the morning. That's 4 in the morning for you guys and gals. If anybody actually is able to be in the live chat, it'd be nice to be able to see it, you know, easily and be able to respond. But I definitely want you guys to see the experience of the live game. If you watch the some of the highlights, if I show you some of the highlights of the game online, like if I'm watching the game here at home, it is absolutely nothing like being there. Being there in the game is completely different. It's because of the crowd. And it'd be kind of cool to show you around the stadium. We could walk around the stadium. You can see what it looks like at Mazda Stadium. See how the crowd is making noise, the kind of songs that they sing. How they're making noise the entire game. Zach Cole is at the plate. Takes that changeup outside for ball 1. Apparently he has a strike that I missed while they were showing highlights. That's hit to the shortstop. Or I'm sorry, the second baseman. Shortstop. Yeah, I'm half asleep here. Ground out. Sam Bachman is on the mound for the Angels. Mauricio Dubon at the plate with 1 out, nobody on. Top of the eighth. Here comes a toss. 96 miles an hour right in there. Dubon had a single his first at bat. This might be his last at bat of the year. He hits it to the third baseman, but he's going to ground out. And that'll be it for Dubon in 2025, I think. As leadoff hitter, Jeremy Pena, number 1 in batting average in the MLB, number 2 in on-base percentage, number 4 in slugging percentage, number 1 with runners in scoring position, batting .443. That's nuts. The Batman, Victor Caratini, is back at the plate. First pitch is a ball. 2 outs, nobody on. Solo home run today and a hit by pitch. What the heck is it about Caratini getting hit by a pitch? Outside. 2-0. Here comes the toss. Swing and a miss. Fouled off at the plate. 2-1. I'm sorry, 2-2. Here comes a 2-2 pitch to Caratini. Low and inside. Full count. That's a grounder to the right side. The first baseman went out to grab it, and Bachman, the pitcher, went over to first base to cover, but the first baseman was not able to handle it, and that's going to be an error. Boom. Was in his glove and just came out. Didn't firmly have it in his glove. Sloppy. That was a sloppy Joe play. Sloppy Joe. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate with Caratini on first and 2 outs. Here's the toss. Sharp grounder to third, easily thrown out, and that's probably Yainer's last at bat for the season. Bottom of the eighth coming up. 11 hits for the Astros, 6 runs. 2 for the Angels, 1 run. It's 6-1. Colton Gordon has pitched 4 innings for the Astros. We'll see if he continues or if they pull somebody else in. Bryce Teodosio is due up, followed by Luis Rengifo and Logan O'Hoppe. You know, several of these guys in the Angels lineup are not their B guys. These are their main guys. These are their starters. And the Astros B guys are still beating them 6-1. That's crazy. It reminds me of the Astros first half of the season. They start bringing all these rookies to take the place of the injured guys. Backups of backups. Backup players. Backups of backups. It's insane, right? We got about an inning and a half left to go before the end of the season. Did we get to 30 likes on the live stream? Let me double check. Double check and see. I think that's going to be the goal for today. Yeah, we got a 31. Got 38 people watching and 31 likes. I think that's about the best we can expect for today. They're talking about Verlander's 3,000th career strikeout, 300th strikeout for the season. That was done on September 18th, a few years back, when times were better. Back in the high life. Gordon's still on the mound facing Ted Osio. He golfs that one in the air on the right side. Caratini's underneath it, and he puts it away for out number one. Renhefo due up next. Justin Verlander, 73 and 28 with Houston. Two different times he came back to be with, or he came to Houston and they came back to Houston, got 2 World Series rings. Tried to get one more, just came short. 1-1 is the count. The Renhefo, that's outside. Check swing, and they say he did not go. 2-1. The Swiffer, right in there, strike two, and the count is even. As you can see, the sun is coming up outside, still overcast. Fouled off. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I mean, I was thinking about cooking some eggs and then lying back down to sleep, but I might not even do that. I might just lie back down and go right back to bed. That's hit out to right center, and Cam is able to get over and get it. Out number two. Logan O'Hoppe due up. Hey, Venture Casts. $20 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. VentureCast says, just wanted to say good job and thanks for bringing us the games this season. Hope everyone has a great off season. First pitch to O'Hoppe is a ball. Second pitch is low and inside for ball two. O'Hoppe fouls that one off. It counts 2-2. VentureCast, I'll say thank you so much, sir. Arigato gozaimasu. Have yourself a good off season as well. And I hope to continue seeing you around. By the way, now that you're here, I want to ask you something. This is a grounder to Dubani, fires over to first base. Caratini has to scoop it up, and that'll be out number three. Colton Gordon, 5 innings of no hits. How about that, man? 5 innings of no hit ball from Colton, 45. We go to the top of the ninth. We're in the final stretch. VentureCast, I saw something yesterday that was very interesting. I've been meaning to watch it for a while. And I finally got to see it yesterday. There is a YouTube channel. They do some really funny things. I think it's like called Internet History or something. History of Internet. And they basically take stories of things, interesting things that have happened all over the world, and they retell the story in a very humorous way. Let me see if I can find it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because as soon as I saw it, I thought, I wonder if you've seen this. I wonder if VentureCast has seen this. Let's see here. Internet historian is what it's called. Internet historian has about 4 million subscribers. Holy freaking cow. If my channel were that big, can you imagine? Do you remember the Concordia that crashed a while back? 32 people died. It was a ridiculous story. If you look at the crew and the captain, the people that were running that ship, and the amount of lies and the cover-ups and everything. But since you're into the cruise stuff, I was wondering if you had ever seen this, but that video was really good. It's very entertaining. Entertaining factor 10 out of 10, but I didn't know about the details of the story. It seems like some of the stuff, I mean, obviously he mixes in comedy, and some of the things he says are tongue in cheek and ridiculous, but he does give you the facts of the story, and it's amazing. He does a lot of videos, but this one in particular I thought was very interesting. This is hit out to left field. Rengifo can't get to it. 0-2 is the count to Sanchi. Yeah, the Concordia. I knew you'd be interested in that, but yeah, the way that they tell the story is really entertaining. I was watching it during lunch yesterday while I was sitting there having my late afternoon lunch and having my vitamins. So I was sitting there drinking coffee, eating, and watching that. It was very good. IELTS says, I'm so happy Texans finally won. Yes, it's nice, isn't it? 88 above the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sanchi. Nobody on, nobody out. Vidgercast says, I would have hated to be on that cruise. Oh my gosh, it would have been terrible. You know, the crazy part is that there was a Korean couple that they got trapped in their room. Whenever the Concordia hit the rocks and started to sink, they were asleep. They didn't even know about it. And the ship started listing, and it locked them in their room. They couldn't get out of their room. And they didn't die. They were found the next day, locked in their room. Both of them were still okay. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Sanchez. Yeah, I think Concordia was the second worst tragedy since, might have been since the Titanic. Wasn't the Lusitania before that? Maybe I'm getting my timelines and information mixed up. It's early in the morning. It's 6:34 here. Sanchez strikes out. His batting at this at bat mimics the way I feel right now. George Springer. They're showing the all 25-year team. Interesting seeing George Springer and Biggio. A couple of other names, notable names on that list. Cam Smith is at the plate with the 0-1 count. Here's the toss in the dirt, 1-1. Venture says the closest thing to that I've been a part of was when I was in the Navy. One of the ships I was on was involved in a collision at sea. What did it collide with? Another ship or something else? And what kind of ship was it, by the way? I guess that's what I meant to ask. Was it like another Navy ship, or was it a commercial ship, or what was it? Jaden Murray is warming up in the bullpen right now for the Astros. It looks like he will be the closer. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Cam hits that one out in the left field. Is it going to drop? Diving catch by Chris Taylor. Nice play. Out number 2. Yeah, I figured my timelines were questionable. Questionable. Here's the pitch to Urias. He has a home run today and a walk. If I'm not now, if I remember correctly what they said, now I might have heard this wrong, but it sounded to me like the 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 32 lives lost on the Concordia was the worst loss of life since the Titanic. And I thought that's a really good track record, right? To go that long without losing life. But unless this, unless the ship sinks or has like an explosion or it's invaded by pirates or something, it would make sense why they should never have many losses of life. This is hit into right field. Adele is over and he puts it away for out number three. So the Astros don't do anything in the ninth, but it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter, does it? Looks like we're going to have Jaden Murray to replace Colton Gordon in just a moment. So we'll change that on the screen. There we go. Three more outs, and the Astros season will be officially over for 2025. Venture says, yes, it was another Navy ship. I was on the USS Essex, and we collided with a refueling ship. Forget the name of it. Maybe it was the USS Gasoline. It was the USS Petrel in 2012. Did you hear about that stupid Chinese ship? Those two Chinese ships trying to ram the Philippine ship and they hit each other? I was so happy to hear about that. I am so tired of the Chinese ships trying to bully all of the other ships by ramming them. I mean, how reckless is that? That's the crazy thing about some of the Chinese mentality when it comes to war. It's like, well, if we're not shooting you with a gun, then it's not war. So they'll pull out machetes and clubs and they'll fight hand to hand with like Indians, and they think that's not war. But even if there are deaths on both sides, that's not war. But if you pull out guns and start shooting, then you cross the line. Then that's war. That's the way the Chinese are behaving in the sea as well. It's like, well, we can blast you with water, we can point lasers at you and blind you, and we can ram you with our ships, but that's not really war because we're not using our guns. How retarded is that? Joe Adele hits it right up the middle for a single. One on with no outs. Mr. Texas Grass says, see you for some football and basketball. Thanks for the broadcast. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again. And thanks for coming in earlier on the Texans broadcast. I was glad to do it. I had a lot of fun doing that today. It was nice. And it's a nice morning, even though I'm tired. Texans win, Astros win. If they get out of the inning here, there's another hit. And they have runners on first and second with no outs. Got to get out of the game first. It's 6-1. But with a 26 to nothing Texans win and a most likely Astros win, that'd be something to hang my hat on before I go to sleep. Go back to sleep. But you have a good one, Mr. Texas Grass. You have a good night. Get some rest. Prodigy says the USS Indianapolis is the one that all of the sailors died from shark attacks in the water. Oh yes, that one is infamous. 96 above the zone. Want to knows the count. I watched a very interesting film recently, a Japanese film Swing and a miss. They took some liberties with it. I think it was the one about the Yamato. Like basically the only battleship to not get sunk. Considered a really really lucky ship. No, no, no. It was not. It was not Yamato. I'm sorry. It was not Yamato. It was the Yuki Kaze. Yuki means snow. Kaze means wind in Japanese. But it was considered a lucky ship because no matter how many battles it took part in, no matter where it went, it always survived and it made it through the war. And then it was actually used by China for a while. Eventually, it was retired, but no matter where it went or what it did, it was never sunk, and it had several different captains. 96 at the top of the zone, strike one to Carter Kieboom. One out right now with runners on the corners here in the bottom of the ninth. Here's the pitch from Murray. Swing and a miss, up and in, 0-2. Two more outs. And we can close the book on 2025 for the Houston Astros. So strange. It's not even October. Here's the pitch. Line drive, foul down the third baseline. But because of the Astros not being in the playoffs, I'm actually able to go on a date. I'm not even sure that I should go on a date. I just don't feel like my health is dependable enough for me to be starting a relationship. But we'll see. Outside, 1-2. Prodigy, now that you mention that about the Indianapolis, it reminds me of the movie Jaws. He's talking about all the men going in the water and the men that came out. Well, that's going to be an RBI hit right up the middle. Adele crosses home plate, 6-2. Runners on first and second, 3 hits this inning. Jaden Murray having a little issue shutting this game down in the ninth. Caratini and Diaz come out to the mound to have a little chit chat with him and slow it down. I want to say that I appreciate everyone's support this year. It has been the past 3 years for me have been challenging in so many ways. You have no idea. Or maybe some of you can have an idea. But I'm not exaggerating when I say that I've lost count of how many times I just really wanted to give up. Just felt so bad or so tired or so in so much pain. I just wanted to give up. Just sometimes I don't feel like I feel like I don't know what to do because I have no one to lean on. It's not like I can just go back home and lie down on the bed and my wife is going to bring me some soup or my family's there for me. The 1-0 pitch is hit down to the left field side. Urias makes a wonderful diving stop. He's not able to get anybody out, but he saves a run from scoring. How in the world did he catch that? He tried to get the runner out at second base, but how in the world did he catch that ball? Great defense by Urias. Wow. Bases loaded with 1 out. Miller comes out to talk to Murray. Denzer Guzman, the rookie, is up at the plate. They are one swing away from tying the game if they got a grand slam right here. Please don't go into extra innings. Come on, Murray. Get us out of the inning, man. Let's end this season on a high note. Hey, Bubba. I'm glad I remembered to come give a like and tell you I'm glad you're here, brother. Thank you so much, Bubba. I really do appreciate that. I really do. I'm appreciative of you and everybody else who helped support this channel. If not for you guys and gals, I wouldn't be here. Swing and a miss by Guzman, strike one. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Murray. Outside. 1-1. Bases juiced. With one out. Here's the toss. That's hit high in the air and fouled out of play. 1-2. Hey, Rusty Gamer. Thank you so much for that awesome super chat. $20 super chat. He says, Brandon, thanks for all your streams this season and always being positive on this team. Go STROS. Thank you for that, sir. Thank you so much. That pitch is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. End of the season. Super thanks. Super chat. Full count to from Jaden Murray to Denzer Guzman. We got bases loaded with a full count and 1 out. Rusty Gamer, I want to say that this is the end of the season. Super thanks. Super chat. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to you. Thanks to everyone else for supporting the community. Right on time with the super chat is the strikeout on a 3-2 pitch. That's 2 down. Bases loaded. But thank you so much for your donations this year, your support. Thank you for your kind words and also your positivity. I've said it before and it's true. I wouldn't be able to sustain this channel if it weren't for the community. Taylor Ward is coming in to pinch hit for Teodosio. So the Angels are trying to get a little serious here at the end. Let's bring in one of our regular guys and try to get a hit. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Ward from Jaden Murray. Swiffer just outside. Hey, Caesar, thank you so much for that $5 sticker. Number 1, baby. You're number 1. You're number 1, Caesar. Thank you so much. That's right, Gregory. 1 more, baby. 1 more out. Outside on the Swiffer, 2-0. Glenn says, thank you so much, Go Brother, for this year. High five from Poland. High five from Japan. Thank you so much for being here. 2 balls and no strikes. Here comes the toss. That's in there. 97 miles an hour. Cruz is in there for a 2-1 count. Prodigy says, my prayers for you and your health. Go, God is there. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. 92 miles an hour on the outside edge. Strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This could be it right here. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ooh, Swiffer low, ball 3. We have another full count. So this is it. So our last game of the season, we've got bases loaded with 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Taylor Ward, the guy who face planted in Dyking Park to left field, the left field wall. Jaden Murray on the mound. The Astros up by 4. Shut it down, Murray. Here comes the final pitch, hopefully. Nice on the outside edge. Strike 3. Ward takes it on the outside, and that's how it ends, with Murray getting the call on the outside edge. Fastball outside. Rung him up. Strike 3. The Astros win their last game of the season 6-2 over the Angels. A little anticlimactic, but it was nice to see. The Astros had a lot of home runs this game. 11 hits total for the STROS. 6 runs. 1 error for each team. 6 hits for the Angels and just 2 runs. And Caesar, thank you for that that extra sticker, that extra $5 sticker. I appreciate that. 20 super chats from Caesar this year. Thank you so much. Steel Viper with a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate that. Long message here. Let's see what we have. Steel Viper with the amazing $50 super chat says, "Thank you for a great broadcast this season. I have high hopes we will return to form next season. This is from me and the community you've built here. Prayers and good health to everyone, and especially you, sir." Thank you so much for that. I will do my best to not sound dark. I will say that recently I have been struggling a lot more than usual. My blood pressure has gone up. My blood flow is not as good. And I'm doing my absolute best to try to figure out how to get beyond that, you know? It's easy whenever you're feeling a certain way, right? You're feeling a certain way to be worried about it. You know, the appearance of it looks bad or feels bad. But I really do appreciate all of your prayers because I seriously need them. I really, really could use them, and I deeply appreciate those. Steel Viper, you have been awesome this year. I'm going to say, Steel Viper, you've been a big supporter, and I thank you for all your commitment to me and the community. Looking forward to healing and winning the AL next year. Go Astros. There we go. Thank you so very much. And I can read that back now that I finished typing it. Steel Viper, you have been a big supporter. I thank you for all your commitment to both me and the community. Looking forward to healing and winning the AL next year. For those of you who are interested in the Texans games and the Rockets games, as long as my health holds and I'm not in the hospital, then I will be here to do those games as well, and I hope you can join me for those. But you've been really awesome, and I appreciate that very much. I appreciate all of you. If I could give you all a hug, I would. Travis says, not sure if it would be possible, but it might be cool to revisit some historic or exciting Astros games from the past during the offseason. Yeah, actually, Travis, there are some things that I would like to revisit, and we'll see. But I'll definitely keep it in mind because I wanted to do something like that. Nightbot attacks Bubba. Calm down, Nightbot. Oh, come on, Steel Viper. Steel Viper with another $50 super chat. Holy freaking cow. I don't know what to say. I am speechless. So the only thing I know to say is words fail me. So I will use Japanese words, I guess. Okay, I'll read this back to you, Steel Viper. This is, first of all, just arigato gozaimasu. It means thank you very much. And then otsukaresama deshita. It means thank you for your hard work. And it's past tense. It means thank you for all the hard work that you've done. I'm showing appreciation for everything that you've done this year. And also, the last part is watashi no tomodachi. It means my friend. Tomodachi is friend. Speaking of friend, quietly wandering is my Australian friend who will be coming in next week. So Still Viper again, arigato gozaimasu. Okaresama deshita. I'm Caesar's hero. Thank you for the sticker. Another sticker there, Caesar. Bubba asks about LSU. Well, Bubba, that's similar to a question I got earlier. Somebody was asking about doing the Houston Cougars, right? And I would love to do NCAA, but the problem is that I don't have a reliable streaming service to do college football games in Japan. There's no real market for that in Japan. Now, NBA, NFL, MLB, even MLS, I think, all of these things are available easily in Japan. But the NCAA games, it's sad because the only way that I can even watch those games is if somebody is live streaming it on YouTube from America. YouTube Premium offers the games, but the problem is they're region locked. So I have to find a way to set up some type of like VPN plus server, but Google and YouTube is very aggressive against recognizing the VPNs. And so sometimes when I'm watching those games, it'll say, you can't watch this in your region, or you can't use a VPN or a proxy when you're watching this game. And YouTube Premium, YouTube TV, rather, is quite expensive. So I don't want to pay for YouTube TV and then be blocked from the games. So I really don't have an option to watch the college football games and do those. So unfortunately, it's not an option right now. I love you too, Gregory. Thank you so much. But yeah, Glenn, I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best not to be in the hospital. I've just been having pressure from blood pressure, my blood pressure, pressure in my head, pains in my head from my blood pressure going up. I think my blood flow has not been so good. Going to the onsen has helped me, but unfortunately, it's not nearby. So I'd like to try to get my bathtub hooked up here at home so that I could soak in it a little bit. It seems to help lower my blood pressure. The other day, my blood pressure got up to 160. And normally my blood pressure doesn't go over 130. It's typically 125. But the other day, the pressure in my head was bad. I was having some pain. And last night I had pain in my side where my kidney is. I've had some chest pains. Just some various increases in symptoms. And when I checked my blood pressure the other day when I was at the onsen, my blood pressure had gone up to 160. And after I left the onsen, it had dropped back down to about 138. Still too high, but much better because, sitting in the onsen in the hot bath and relaxing, lying out in the sun, those things are very relaxing and beneficial for me. But we'll see. I'm gonna do what I can to beat this. Glenn says we have a lot to do around the place. I I have a lot to. Yeah. Well, you're free to do whatever you want, that's for sure. But of course, you already know the main things that need to be done. And once you get here, you'll look around and you'll see, you know, yeah. If we could get the indoor plumbing set up, I think that's the main thing. If we could get the temporary septic system finished and the bathtub and the toilet connected to it and an indoor sink, those things alone would go so far because I think I can keep myself warm even if the room is freezing cold. For those of you who don't know this, it gets down to -8 or so around here, and the snow can be pretty heavy. -8 Celsius is, no, -8, not 8. Google changing. That's 17 degrees, basically, Fahrenheit. It gets down to 17 degrees around here. It's below freezing. And I have no walls around my house. It has just sliding doors. It has some glass windows, glass sliding doors, but there's no seal. And the floorboards have no insulation. It's just sliding doors and wooden floors. It's freezing cold in here. But as cold as it gets, I can find a way to keep my bed warm. The thing is, when I have to get up and use the toilet or something, or if I need a shower or a bath, right now I literally don't have any indoor plumbing. I have a shower outside and I have an outdoor sink where I can wash dishes and brush my teeth. But of course, that's not easy to do during the wintertime. Plus, I have what's called a squat toilet. For those of you who don't know what a squat toilet is, feel free to look it up online and you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's outside. So with my leg having edema, swelling, and my health condition, that's very inconvenient. So anyway, Caesar says wishful thinking for you and all the STROS fans. Thank you, Caesar, and thank you so much. Not just for your super chats, but also for your positive support and continually being here for so long and supporting the channel in many different ways. Bubba wants to know if Tubi is accessible. Tubi is supreme if accessible. Space City Sports Network is there. I don't know, but I will look into it, Bubba, for sure. Gregory says, I wish they had a cure cocktail for you, buddy. Me too. I believe that there is a cure, and it might just be a mental thing. And if it is, I just don't know why I haven't figured it out yet. I don't think too much about it. I feel like it just revolves around my emotions. There's something that just hasn't connected, something in me that just hasn't quite connected. And because of that, I'm still sick. I really do believe, if a person can get cancer and cancer can grow, then a person can have the opposite effect. Cancer can begin to shrink and go away. And if it doesn't, why is that? I'd like to understand why and make that happen, Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Glenn says, as always, wherever you are, I will find you. That sounds like the Police song. Every breath you take. You gonna stalk me? It's just a big wooden tent, a very nice tent, but no insulation inside. Yeah, this is what you call high level camping or upgraded homelessness. That has been described, that my house has been described that way by a couple of different people, either advanced camping or high level homelessness. So you actually have a roof over your head and you have the wind blocked, but the temperature inside during the winter is going to be just as cold as the outside. And the way these houses are designed, these old houses, they really do retain the cold air really, really well. During the summer, that's perfect because inside the house, it could be like 65 degrees, 70 degrees. And then outside, it could be 93 degrees. You know, it's amazing the difference. You know, if it's cool at night, you can open the windows and you can get that air in. And then in the morning, you close the windows and it just kind of traps that cold air inside. Glamping. Yeah. I'm not even sure that it's as high level as glamping. Glamping is well, like a bunch of, you usually use a vehicle and a bunch of modern tools and cooking utensils and things like that. And you don't really stay. I think a lot of people don't stay overnight, right? When they glamp, they just drive somewhere. They open the back of the van. They have tables and food and cooking utensils and chairs and stuff. And they have fun and enjoy themselves and play music. And then they pack it up and go home. A lot of people do that. Whenever you're invited to go camping in China or Japan, it's often a completely different experience. Chinese camping is the most ridiculous, in my opinion, because the government doesn't like or allow people to go to a piece of land and put up a tent and stay overnight. So, to an American, if you say, hey, do you want to go camping? It typically means one of two things. One is obviously going to a campground, right? And there are different types of campgrounds. Some camping spots are more roughing it style, you know, with the tent and stuff. And then they have some areas where you can bring your camper that you pull behind your car or something like that. But then the other type is basically you grab your gear, you put it on your back, and you go out in the forest, you know, and you camp out there. This is what it means to an American. But in China, camping means you have a tent, maybe, or you have some kind of covering. You take it to the local park and you set it up, and you relax there. You cook, and then you sleep, and you do that in the afternoon, and then you pack it all in and go home. That's what they call camping. And I've told Chinese when they said, I'm going camping, and I say, oh, really? Describe it to me. I'm like, that's not camping. They don't even make fires. They can't even, they have to bring like a device, like a small cooking device. They're not allowed to have an open fire like that. So they can't even roast marshmallows and hot dogs and stuff. It's like, that's a picnic. You're picnicking with a tent is what it is. But in Japan, they have camping sites and they have places where you can do stuff that's more similar to American style camping. But most Japanese have never had the experience of just grabbing a backpack, and grabbing some food and some cooking utensils and a sleeping bag and a tent and going into the forest and camping out somewhere. Oh, this looks like a good spot, you know, and setting up, maybe doing some fishing. No, this is not really a thing in Japan either. American camping is definitely the best. Just like American barbecue, by the way. Glenn, maybe sometime you can educate me about Australian style barbecue. I would imagine that Australian barbecue is also awesome. Maybe it's Western barbecue that's so great, but American barbecue is the best. Japanese barbecue is good, but it's different. And Chinese barbecue to me is just uh so at best. Too dry, too simple, completely different than Japanese style and American style. Glamorous camping in Oz. Have lovely tents for an overnight stays. So easy, so simple. The simple life. The slow, simple life. Well, I think that's it. I'm glad you all joined me. This has been the Astros 2025 season. When I sign off now, that will be the last Astros game of this year come to a close. The Astros win this game 6-2. That's good. It's kind of bittersweet, though. They come through in the last two games. If either the Rangers or the Tigers had done what they were supposed to do, lose or win, we could have been in. But that's it for now. So I'm going to switch over and focus now on Texans football. And then later on, in a few weeks, we've got NBA basketball starting up. But it's nice to have a little bit of a break right now. I can relax, take a breather, spend my time building out the channel, working on my code, getting my scoreboards looking nicer and working better, and giving you all a better experience. Thank you again for all your support, your positive words, your donations, your likes, your subscribes, your shares. Everything that you've done to help support the channel is deeply, deeply appreciated. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Whether it's in a community post or a video or another live stream, I'm sure that we will meet again. Until then, I will say this as always, go STROS. And I might not see you tomorrow's, but I'll see you again soon. Thank you, J. Paul. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. Bye-bye for now. Just for now.